safety is a priority for you in retirement, then think twice before moving to any of these countries. The 10 countries that I'm going to share with you in this video are the most dangerous and least peaceful countries on the Global Peace Index, which assesses a country based on its crime, incarceration rate, and also the domestic and international conflict that these countries are involved in. So that has a big bearing on a country's political stability. And if this is the first time we're meeting, I'm Kristin. I've been helping people retire abroad since 2005. So let's jump right in. The first country on my list really surprised me. I used to live in Costa Rica, and I thought that this country was safer than Costa Rica, which is not even on this list. This country is located in Central America. It uses the US dollar, and it's often ranked as the best place to retire in the world. It's famous for its canal, tropical climate, and a retirement visa that's considered one of the best anywhere. Panama is marketed as a retirement haven, but the crime in the capital of Panama City, and especially in the province of Colón, have had this country's ranking falling down the Peace Index order from 45th back in 2008 to 84th out of 163 countries today. The biggest changes that we've seen in Panama from 2008 to today are specifically in the incarceration rate, the police rate, the homicide rate. So all of these things have been getting a bit worse over the years. But one thing that's interesting with Panama is that the level of safety fluctuates a lot. So you'll have a period of years where things seem to be getting better, then they seem to be getting worse, and then better again. So it kind of depends on where you're moving there and what the current status is. Regardless, Panama remains one of the top retirement destinations in the world, and many people are extremely happy there. You just have to be careful. Says one expat, you'll be fine as long as you don't drink excessive alcohol, take street taxis, or walk around late at night. There is petty crime, but I've never actually witnessed it. Just be street smart and you won't have any issues. Petty criminals target easy prey. If you decide to move to Panama, popular places to live include the Valley of Boquete, the beaches of Coronado, and of course, the metropolitan Panama City. So I pretty much agree with this other expat's take on Panama. I do think that a lot of the crime is targeted in certain areas, certain parts of Colón and Panama City, and I haven't personally experienced it being there as well. So you should be good if you take normal precautions as you would anywhere in the world. But as we go through the rest of the countries on this list, they're just going to keep getting more dangerous and less peaceful as we go along. The next country on our list is famous for its white sand beaches, spicy street food, and bustling capital city. It's a favorite for retirees thanks to its low cost of living, around $1,200 to $1,500 per month, and friendly locals. But beneath the surface, there's a darker side. This country has a history of political unrest, coups, and a violent insurgency in the south. The first time I ever watched the movie Broke Down Palace, I was terrified of traveling to Thailand because I was afraid of getting locked up abroad for something that I didn't do. But the reality is that a lot of people consider Thailand to be a safe place, but there's also a lot of risks, not so much of violent crime, but more of traffic accidents, especially if you're riding in tuk-tuks or motorbikes. Or there's also a lot of tourist scams and petty thefts and some mysterious happenings that I'll talk about in just a moment. Says one expat, if you go looking for trouble in Thailand, you will absolutely find it, just like back home. But if you're a normal person doing normal things, you'll never accidentally walk into a brothel, end up in a drug sting, or be thrown off of a balcony in Pattaya. So that last story that he mentions is allegedly, from what my research has shown. So there seems to have been a string of mysterious deaths of foreigners living in the Pattaya part of Thailand, and Those seem to be still under investigation to see if it was a murder or a suicide in different cases. So one most recently that's in the news right now is about a British businessman who died after falling from the balcony. I believe it was 17 floors. But overall, most expats do feel incredibly safe. And the crime rates in Thailand have been declining since 2010, which you can see in this graph right here. But even though it ranks 86th on the Global Peace Index this year, which is not good, it was actually 128th place back in 2008. So things are improving in Thailand. One British expat says, "I've lived here for 10 years. Thailand is incredibly safe. It feels much safer than the UK. You'll find police doing random stop and searches as an issue on and off, which can be annoying, but smile, be polite, and soon you'll be on your way." If you're thinking of retiring in Thailand, check out the Thai Privilege Visa and the Non-Immigrant O Retirement Visa. Popular places to live include Bangkok, Chiang Mai, Hua Hin, Rayong, and Phuket. I also really like Koh Samui and Krabi. The next country on our list is a tropical archipelago with over 7,000 islands, friendly English-speaking locals, and a special retirement visa. But it's also a place that gets hit by typhoons, earthquakes, and has regions plagued by terrorism and insurgency. The Philippines ranks 105 on the Global Peace Index. It offers the SRRV visa and a low cost of living, but it's not without risks. The regions of Mindanao and the Sulu Archipelago specifically are under travel advisories due to terrorism and kidnappings, as you can see here with the US State Department and the UK's Foreign Office. Infrastructure and healthcare can be unreliable outside of major cities, and natural disasters are a constant threat. The Philippines is a very big country, however, so the level of safety and peacefulness that you experience can vary a lot depending on where you are. Many expats agree that Philippines is a lot safer than their home countries, including the USA, and that any violence is extremely location dependent. A few things that a lot of expats recommend to be careful about are regarding traffic in Manila. So whether you are in a tuk-tuk, in a jeepney, on the public transportation, or just walking around, be careful, be aware of traffic, and be on the lookout for pickpockets and purse snatchers. This can also be when you're walking around or when you're on public transportation, and also be careful walking in certain areas at night. Last time I went to Manila, I actually experienced somebody following me all the way from the metro to the front door of my hotel. My friend and I were essentially walking faster, and then ultimately running and sprinting to get to the door of the Peninsula Hotel in Manila. And it wasn't until we got to the front door and the security guard was there that this man stopped and turned back. So we didn't report it. I don't know who he was or anything, but we just got that sense of somebody following us. We turned around and he was. So these things can happen. You really need to be aware, and that was at night as well. We had just come back from dinner and drinks, so be careful. But besides that experience, I found the people of the Philippines to be incredibly warm and friendly, some of the nicest people in the world, as I've said in a lot of other videos. So even though you do have these risks throughout the country, it's very dependent on where you are, and overall, most expats and immigrants there are having a very positive experience. The next country on our list is known for its volcanic landscapes, colonial cities, and surfing beaches. It's one of the cheapest places to live in the Americas, but it's also one of the poorest, with a long history of political unrest, protests, and government crackdowns. Nicaragua ranks number 111 on the GPI, up from number 69 in 2008, the year I lived there, when it was apparently much safer. Even so, I've personally had some negative experiences while living in Nicaragua. One thing that happened was that my caretaker, who actually worked for the owner of the house that I was renting, once got really drunk and tried to break into my house while I was asleep and my sister was visiting. So that was very unnerving. Fortunately, he wasn't able to get in. We were able to call the owner, and he got relocated to a different property in a different part of the country. And then actually the reason that I decided to leave Nicaragua was due to the political unrest. I once got stuck in the middle of a political protest in Managua. I got stuck in the city for a few days. The roads were blocked. There were violent protests going on, and I just decided that was enough for me. Although I do really love the Nicaraguan people, my friends who live there. I still own multiple properties there, and I am planning to go back in a few months to visit, but it's not necessarily that somewhere I would personally want to live, although I do have relocation clients living there very happily, enjoying the low cost of living, which can be below $1,000 per month in some cases, and also the very modern healthcare that you can find, especially like at the Vivian Palas Hospital in Managua. So you've got the beautiful beaches, friendly people, low cost of living, good healthcare, and it's close to the US and Canada, so not a bad place to be, but definitely take precautions if you plan to be living there full time. If you're interested in retiring there, then check out Granada on Lake Nicaragua, the southern beaches of San Juan del Sur, Grand Pacifica Resort on the central coast, and I also like the mountainous area of Esteli, which is filled with farms, rolling hills, and waterfalls. And you can also check out the Corn Islands in the Caribbean for a little bit more of a tropical island lifestyle. The sixth country on our list you are likely very familiar with. This is the third largest country in the world by population, with a vast range of climates, cultures, and living costs. It's home to world-class cities, but also has some of the highest rates of gun violence, healthcare costs, and political division in the developed world. You may have guessed it, it's my home country and possibly yours, the United States. So the US ranks number 128 out of 163 countries on the Global Peace Index, which is not good. It's, rating this way for the high rates of violent crime, gun violence. We also have the highest incarceration rate in the world. That on top of the mass shootings, expensive healthcare, high cost of living in general, not the best place perhaps to live in the world, but it depends on your perspective. One thing about the United States is that safety and quality of life and costs vary dramatically by state and city. So if you're planning to retire in the US, choose carefully and make sure to budget for healthcare. Now, one thing that was quite concerning when I was researching for this video was finding out that the US is mentioned 41 times in the Global Peace Index report, and that is not a good thing. Primarily, they're reporting on the increasing political terror in the US, that high police rate, incarceration rate, and also an increase in homicides. So it's quite possible that one of the reasons why you're watching this video or other videos on moving abroad could be due to the level of safety or danger in the United States. And I know that for most of my relocation clients, this does play a part in their wanting to move abroad. So typically it's people that are moving towards something, like moving towards a better life in a different country, but also there's that secondary element of just wanting to get some distance from the political situation or the violence in the United States. So if you would like help with your move, then I will leave a link to my website below, or you can scan this QR code or pop over to travelingwithkristin.com/relocation, as I have been helping people go abroad for more than 20 years, so I'd be happy to help you as well. However, it's not all bad news, because some of the best places to retire in the world are in America, including the beaches of Florida, many parts of Texas, and also Midland, Michigan, according to US News and World Report, which this year was ranked the best place to retire in the country. And AARP actually crowned San Francisco as the best place to retire in the US this year, although I'm not sure that everyone would agree with that. Now, speaking of safety, one thing that you'll want to do, whether you are staying in your home country or going abroad someday, is make sure that your online presence is secure. If you Google yourself, you'll find that your name, address, phone number, even your relatives' information is out there on dozens of websites. And the scary thing is that data brokers collect and sell your personal information to marketers, scammers, even identity thieves without your permission. And regardless of where you live, the last thing you want is your financial data or your address floating around on the internet. The good news is that Incogni can protect you from this risk. They automatically remove your data from more than 420 data broker sites and people search sites. So if privacy and security are important to you, then take steps to protect it. Use the link below this video or scan this QR code right here to save 60% off your plan with Incogni and prevent your personal data from getting into the wrong hands. Use the code Kristin at incogni.com/Kristin right now to save 60% on your plan. And thank you to Incogni for partnering with me on this very important video. The next country on our list is known for its Andes peaks, Amazon rainforest, and a city that's a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's long been a favorite for budget-minded retirees with the cost of living below $1,000 per month, but recent years have brought a surge in gang violence, political instability, and also safety concerns. Ecuador is home to the Galapagos Islands and one of the most popular expat communities in the region, Cuenca. And while this particular area is still considered safe, the country as a whole has seen a sharp rise in violent crime and kidnappings due to political unrest and drug cartels. It's rated a level 2 by the US State Department, and there are some places that you don't want to travel there, namely Guayaquil and Manta. I visited Ecuador last year and I actually made a video about my experience because it was the first time that I experienced a shooting in a public place, and unfortunately one person was killed. So this is something definitely to take seriously about Ecuador. But that being said, a lot of people are still moving to Cuenca. I have relocation clients moving there, and there are still pockets around Ecuador where you can feel safe. Some areas to look up include Loja and Vilcabamba in the south, as well as some coastal towns such as Olón, which is very close to Montanita, and some of the areas around Salinas. The fourth least peaceful country on our list is famous for samba, carnival, and breathtaking beaches. It's the largest country in South America, but also one of the most unequal when it comes to wealth. Retirees are drawn here to its vibrant culture, but many are shocked by the reality of urban crime, favelas, and political turmoil. Brazil ranks 130 on the GPI, primarily due to the homicide rate, crime rates, and high incarceration rate. I've been to Brazil a few times, and I have to admit I was definitely looking over my shoulder while walking around there. I didn't feel particularly safe in any of the cities that I visited, and I also know people who experienced violent crime and mugging firsthand. So there are safe places there. My brother goes there often. He's a surf photographer, so he's been a few times, and we have a friend who has a house there in Rio, but my brother has actually witnessed a shooting on the beach in the middle of Rio de Janeiro. So these things do happen there. I did visit one area that's almost like an island. It's called Morro de Sao Paulo, and it's one of the most beautiful places that I've ever been to in the world. There are very few cars there. The locals are very friendly, and it is one of the places that you can feel comfortable walking around safely at night. And I did hear that if you lose your cell phone somewhere, that the locals will find it and return it to you. So they really care about protecting tourism there. You can definitely check that out if you're thinking of traveling to Brazil. A few other places that are popular include Jericoacoara and Florianopolis. So if you decide to move to Brazil, check out the Brazil retirement visa for people aged 60 and up with an income of at least $2,000 per month. Getting into our top 3, which are countries to be extra careful in. This next country is a favorite for North American retirees thanks to its proximity to the country, its warm weather, and also its many expat communities. But it's also infamous for cartel violence, kidnappings, and some of the world's highest homicide rates. You might love the food here, but you won't love the headlines. Mexico offers temporary and permanent retirement options and affordable living, but safety is a real concern. The Global Peace Index ranks Mexico at 135 out of 163 countries, and the US State Department has multiple regions here categorized under do not travel advisories. Even popular expat havens like Puerto Vallarta and Lake Chapala have seen rising crime. In February, the beach town of Puerto Vallarta was hit with a shocking, significant surge in cartel-related activity after the death of El Mencho, the former head of a major cartel. There were carjackings, burned vehicles, and road blockades, and for a few days it seemed like a ghost town there. So while millions of expats and retirees live happily in Mexico, you need to be extremely careful about where you settle and also stay alert. Mexico is a place that I've been traveling to since I was 16 years old. I've been with family, I've been with friends, I've solo traveled there, and I've always had good experiences, but I have through the years heard a lot of stories and seen a lot of scary headlines. So if you're planning to retire in Mexico, do be safe and do your research. The next country is known for its city of eternal spring, its vibrant culture, and a reputation that's improving but not fast enough. It's a country still plagued by drug cartels, corruption, and one of the highest homicide rates in the world. Colombia ranks 140 on the Global Peace Index, and similarly to Mexico, major issues here include the police rate, homicide rate, and the intensity of internal conflict. While Medellin and Cartagena are popular destinations for expats, the risks are real. You've got crime, theft, and drug-related violence that can be some concerns. The US State Department regularly issues travel warnings. It's a place where you need to take serious precautions. Colombia is beautiful and affordable with a cost of living below $1,000 per month in many cases, but it is one of the most dangerous places on our list today. Colombia is another country that I've been to a few times. My first time traveling there was back in 2010, and each time I've been, I've gone by myself. One time I went with some friends, and it's a place where you definitely feel the warmth of the people, but you definitely need to use your street smarts there. And the riskiest country to retire to on this list straddles Europe and Asia. It's famous for its ancient cities and as a crossroads of ancient civilizations. It's popular for tourists and retirees alike, but in recent years, it's faced political instability, terrorism, and a deteriorating peace score. Turkey ranks 146 out of 163 countries for its high political instability, terror risk, and the intensity of internal conflict. However, Turkey's beautiful beaches, delicious food, low cost of living, and sunny weather continue to attract foreign residents. Many choose to settle in the cosmopolitan city of Istanbul or in the coastal areas of Antalya, Izmir, and Bodrum. If you're considering Turkey for retirement, you can get citizenship by investing $400,000 to $500,000 in real estate or other assets. I also visited Turkey for the first time a few years ago, and I spent a couple weeks in Istanbul. It was a beautiful city. I had a great time, but it was definitely unnerving to see all of the security guards everywhere and also metal detectors to get into a lot of places. But Turkey is a big country with a lot of places that you can consider retiring to. I'm curious though if you would live in any of the countries in this video, and if you want to find out what are the safest countries to retire to in the world, then watch this video next.